So welcome to Beauty of Colors podcast, Danielle. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. Tell the listeners about you and what drove you in writing your book.
Okay, so first of all, my name is Danielle Brazant. I am a speaker, writer, and presenter living in the Midwestern area of the United States. My journey and my story starts in 2012. That year, when I was about to enter my final year of college and graduate with honors to obtain my associate's degree and go on to study for my bachelor's, destiny had other plans for me than the ones I had decided. I suffered a traumatic brain injury and lost consciousness for about 2 weeks after a near fatal car accident that I was involved in. And then my life started all over. I had to relearn when I awoke from my state of unconsciousness. I had to relearn how to walk, how to chew food, just how to read, everything. I had to start from scratch. That is what led me, that story. It's what led me to write my book. And it's just, now that I look back on it, I am grateful for that experience, because even though it was painful, very painful, the process of recovering from that, and the medical recovery was probably the easy part. More difficult, more painful was the emotional and the professional recovery that took years. And at one point it got so difficult, I became suicidal. But thankfully, by the grace of God, if you don't believe in a higher power, there is such a thing as destiny, and there's such a thing as fate for all of us. And by the grace of those angels, I did not end up committing suicide. My parents, particularly my late father, may he rest in peace, pushed me, and they allowed me to tap into the well of self-motivation within myself and push myself to still see what I was still capable of doing after all of that. And that's why I am here today. And that's why I'm on the journey truly to my dreams. My life is incredible. I am very grateful, very thankful. And it all started with that event that almost ended my life.
Wow, what a story, Danielle. So what do you mean by maximizing your potential, and how do you start the journey towards true happiness in life?
How I lay it out in my book and how I discovered it through my own journey is everybody has a story. So mine was, I just laid out, it was painful, it was traumatic, but everybody has a story. That's what I've come across in life. And some people's stories are more headline making, more just incredible than others. It may seem on the surface, but everybody has something in their life that they have to overcome. Everybody has a journey, a struggle they have to go through. Everybody has a mountain they have to climb. And when you climb that mountain and you overcome those struggles, even if you don't feel like you've overcame them quite yet, the process of overcoming and the process of climbing that mountain will put you on the journey towards true happiness in life. If you learn the lessons correctly and you tap into your own motivation, your own well of self-determination, I think it's a misconception that's why I don't call myself a motivational speaker. I think that's a misconception. Only we can motivate ourselves. We all had the keys to our own drive, and only we can turn it on. So I call myself an inspirational speaker, not a motivational speaker. Other people can inspire us, like my father did me, to motivate ourselves and give us the kickstart to that journey, but it takes us. Only we can truly motivate ourselves. The other people cannot do it for us. But if everybody climbs that mountain and overcome the struggles that they need to, that are unique to their own lives, it will put them on the path towards true happiness in life, like it did me. because the lessons I learned from recovering from my brain injury is what got me on this journey I am now. Before my car accident, my goal was to climb the corporate ladder, become a corporate buyer. I'm good at sales. I'm always good at talking, but I was just gonna climb the corporate ladder. My goal was to make $100,000 by the time I turned 30, and I was a finalist for a prestigious scholarship that would have had me moving to a corporate headquarters out of state. And that was going to be my focus. And it was very linear, very self-focused, as it is for a lot of people. So, but after my car accident, I no longer wanted to do that. What I wanted to do was utilize the gifts that I always had. I've always been outgoing. I've always loved to talk. I wanted to use those gifts to share my story in a way that could help other people. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm so fulfilled. I'm so grateful and so blessed by the opportunity.
So Danielle, are you saying that your true happiness started after your injury, and that's when you found yourself, or did it start before that?
So I'm saying after my injury and after that horrific event that may seem horrific on the outside, that is what led to this journey towards true happiness that I'm on now. Like I say in my book, true happiness is a journey. It's not an ultimate destination. Like I'm not done. I'm still on that journey. And the journey towards true happiness, won't you become fulfilled and won't you discover what your true purpose is? That is so fulfilling. It's magical. And the journey towards true happiness is just as satisfying as the ultimate destination, just climbing that mountain and just learning everything that you can learn along the way.
Okay. So Danielle, let's talk a little bit about the law of the universe. You said with every negative comes a positive. What do you mean by that? And how does the law of the universe work? Does it work different for everybody? Or is there a specific formula to that?
Thank you for that. Yes. So I believe, and I think this is demonstrated in everybody's life, every negative has a positive. And that is a scientific principle I laid out in the book. It's a scientific principle, like matter and antimatter. With every element comes a opposing force. So just like my car accident, that was a very negative event in my life, but it ended up ultimately in being this positive that got me on the journey towards true happiness, which I believe it can do for everybody. Take the most negative, the biggest obstacle that you face in your own life. The process of overcoming that makes you so strong. It teaches you so many lessons that it will ultimately become a positive in your life and a force for good.
Okay. So what are some of the steps to winning that internal competition?
An internal competition, like it's
Yeah.
my father had to be the one to, kind of push me. And I think that while other people can't motivate us, we often need other people to inspire us. And that's why I'm a speaker and a writer and presenter today, because I want to inspire other people, just like my father inspired us. And it often takes other people to inspire us, because we're so caught up in our own problems and our own like dilemma that we can't often see the future, and we don't think that there is hope. So winning the internal competition, it means just finding within yourself the tools you need to just tap into that self-motivation and motivate yourself to win. And a truly self-motivated person that's been inspired will conquer any obstacle, will discover any dream. Nothing is impossible. Like with the human spirit, you can look at our ancestors, you can look at just today's life, the stuff that people have overcome and the stuff that people are capable of overcoming. It's even more miraculous than me. Like I've learned stories that are far more, in my own personal opinion, far more incredible than even my own. Like I go, wow, when I read them and I listen to them. It's just everybody has a story, like I said, and there is nothing that's impossible. The only thing that is impossible, with the human spirit, with everything that the human spirit is capable of, and its immense beauty. The only thing that's not possible is the impossible. That's a phrase I just had my biggest keynote address yet. The Minnesota MBIA, Brain Injury Alliance conference, their first in-person conference since the pandemic. I was the keynote opening night speaker, and that's something I had in my speech. The only thing that's not possible is the impossible, with the human spirit, with human motivation. And when you motivate yourself, there is nothing you can't not achieve. It's incredible.
Yeah, Danielle, we talk about motivation. It sounds like an easy thing to do, but some listeners may say, how do I motivate myself? How do I get to that point where I can, motivate myself in doing what I want to do? Sometimes it's very difficult for some people. How would they kind of go ahead and do that?
It is very difficult. Like I said, it took my father to just get me to do it to myself. But it starts with finding something you're passionate about. You just gotta go on this journey towards self-discovery, and you need a goal. You need something you're working towards, and you need to find a passion. And for me, the goal was to just get back on my feet. My father just looked me in the eye and he said, like, before your car accident, you had all these dreams, all these goals, and now you think you're not able to do them. But let me tell you, you're still the same person. And if you don't dream anymore, you have nobody to blame but yourself. So it starts with having a goal, having a dream, and then just pushing yourself to achieve that goal or dream. And then it becomes a passion. So it starts with a goal. Number one, after my car accident, my goal was to just get back on my feet, get my own place again. I could not, as much as I loved them and as much as they pushed me, living with my parents every day was just not. I had enough. I wanted I wanted my independence back. I wanted to get out of my parents' house once more. So it starts with the goal, and then once I was back on my feet, I just took my father's words about how before my accident I had all these dreams and all these things I wanted to achieve. So after I was back on my own, I'm like, okay, I got my own place. So now what? Like, what am I going to do with my life? Like, what's going to be my dream? And that's when I decided to become a speaker. And 10 years later, here I am. And now I'm on that journey towards true happiness. I just kept, it was a lot of work. It'd be involved doing a lot of research, writing the book, and this slowly, and then the pandemic, and I started my business with the growth of virtual speaking opportunities. I'm like, now I'm going to launch. I'm going to do it now. So, and it's just, and in-person events are coming back, and I've gotten a lot of interest, and this year has been my best year ever. So it started 10 years ago after I had achieved a goal, getting back on my own feet. I had achieved that goal. Now I asked myself, okay, what's the dream? You accomplished the goal. Now what's the dream? So that's how it starts for everybody. Just having a goal and then discovering the dream.
Wow. I think somebody said that if your dreams should be able to scare you.
Yeah.
And that makes it a little bit more, possible. I think it was a speaker who said that. I can't recall exactly who
That's
it
true.
was.
I will agree with that. They should be big enough to scare you, but they still need to be attainable. Like you still need to know how you can do it. Like I knew I wanted to be a speaker. I wanted to share this story. And I knew I had all the attributes that would allow me to do it. I love to speak to people. I'm outgoing. So I'm like, okay, Danielle, I've always been that way. You've always had these gifts that would allow you to do it. Now you need to discover how you're gonna do it. So it should scare you, your dream. It still needs to be obtainable.
Yeah. So you said in your book, Danielle, you don't have to be happy to fall in love. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes. I think this is one of the biggest misconceptions. That's why we see like the relationship statistics are just abysmal, like people that divorce and people constantly breaking up, and just like the damage that has caused with children and everything. And I think the misconception that leads to this and relationship failure is that people think that is up to another person to make them happy. So that they'll know that someone's the one because that person will make them happy. And no, first of all, another person can't make that happen for you. Happiness is totally a individual responsibility. Another person cannot make you happy. You need to make yourself happy. Another person will only contribute to your happiness. So first of all, I want to get that out of the way. And you don't have to be happy to fall in love. Like falling in love, and this is how I define it. There's a lot of people just don't even know what love is anymore, it seems like. But I feel like falling in love, you love somebody when you care about that person as much as or even more than yourself. That's how I define love. When you care about a person as much as or even more than yourself. Somebody that you're gonna, without even thinking, just running through a burning building for. Somebody you're gonna just take a bullet for. That's love when you find that person. And you don't have to be happy to find that. You can be quite miserable. Like I met my current boyfriend. He's the one. Like I'm not always the easiest person to put up with, and it's been like almost over 6 years now. So I'm like, if we can put up with each other for this long, I'm done. I'm not doing relationships are work, and I'm not doing all this all over again. I'm done. So I found my one. Okay. And I wasn't happy when I found them. When we started dating and talking, getting to know one another, I wasn't anywhere near, it was 6 years ago. So I had just started writing my book. I had started writing it. I think it was halfway through finishing it. And I wasn't happy. I wasn't even on the journey I am towards happiness that I'm on now. But he was somebody that we had shared values. We were compatible, and he enhanced my happiness. Like he didn't make me happy. He just enhanced it. Like I enjoyed spending time with him, and I enjoyed talking to him. We shared a intellectual connection. Like we enjoyed talking about the same things. We both care about civic affairs and politics. So that's what I mean by that. Happiness is not a predeterminate to falling in love, and happiness is not something that will come about by falling in love. Another person can never make you happy. That is totally your own responsibility, but they can enhance it. And when you find that person, you'll know. It's about compatibility and shared values.
Wow, well said, Danielle. Do you have any last words for the listeners, and where can the listeners get a copy of your book?
So the easiest way to find out everything I do and to get a copy of my book is to go to DANIELLEBRAZANT.com. And do you need me to send you a link or anything, or my PDF or anything? Do you want any information you want to share with your listeners from me? I'm going to ask.
I'm going to put it, actually, when I do post it, I'm going to put your link in the post.
Perfect. DANIELLEBRAZANT.com. That's where you can find out everything you need to know and get a copy of my book.
Okay.
It's
any
been
last
a pleasure.
Any last words for the listeners, Danielle?
My last words would be start that journey for yourself today. Like, happiness is a journey. It's a journey of self-discovery. It's a journey of finding a passion. And it starts with achieving a goal, then finding a dream, and then chasing it for the rest of your life.
Okay, well, thank you, Danielle, for being on
Thank you.
Beauty of Colors podcast.
Thank you. This was wonderful.